Welcome back to the ultra running community. On this channel we cover the latest news, tips and stories from around the ultra running world. And wow, there's a lot going on right now. From Kilian Jornet's next crazy project to what happened at the Dragon's Back race. And there's some massive UTMB news. Let's get into it. First up, the GOAT himself, Kilian Jornet. Kilian's just announced a project that's borderline impossible. He's planning to take on every 14,000 foot peak in the US. But there's a twist. Every day he's going to ride a Tour de France size stage and run a marathon. It's part mountaineering, part cycling and part ultra running. Only Kilian could dream up this, and maybe only Kilian could put it off. And speaking of brutal races, the Dragon's Back race finished yesterday in Cardiff Castle. Now I took part and unfortunately had to drop out midway through day 2 due to injury, but the winner, David Parrish. David Parrish absolutely dominated the men's field and led from the start. He finished in a time of 48 hours and 40 minutes, and throughout the week the weather was absolutely biblical. On the women's side, Holly Wootton done exactly the same, led from the start and absolutely smashed it. Not only winning, but destroying the previous course record by 3 hours. She finished with an 11-hour lead over second place Geordie. Incredible performances all round. Now for those of you unaware of the Dragon's Back race, the Dragon's Back race is a 6-day multi-staged event from Conwy Castle right down to Cardiff Castle through the spine of Wales. And this year saw some absolutely terrible weather, so runners really had to dig deep. Now speaking to the medical team, they taped up 157 runners for shin splints. That just shows the amount of determination that these runners took to get to that finish line in Cardiff. Moving on, Spain is also getting its first backyard ultra. If you're not familiar with the style, it's a 4.167 mile lap, or yard as it's called, and Spain are introducing their first one in Ronda. It's going to be coming in November, and runners will have to cover that 6.7 kilometers or 4.167 miles on the hour until the last man is standing. There's no set finish line, just pure and mental and physical endurance. But in Ronda, they're adding a twist. Every hour, the time limit decreases 1 minute. Now, it's going to be exciting to see this format because a lot of the big players in the backyard ultra game tend to come in around between 45 and 55 minutes. So to see that time reduce is going to bring a very exciting format, and I'm looking forward to it. Meanwhile, in Spain, 1,800 runners lined up for the Canfranc. Now, the Canfranc takes place in the Pyrenees, and it's one of the toughest races out there, let's be frank. We're talking over 10,000 meters climbing within the 100k event. That's like stacking Everest on top of Snowdon and then some. Brutal, but it's also the perfect warm-up for the World Mountain and Trail Championships. Now in the US, there's been an inspiring story making the headlines. A 66-year-old ultra runner called Les Jones. He's been competing in 100-mile races for 20 years. But during a routine checkup, he was diagnosed with an enlarged aorta and an aneurysm. But with medical support, Les is still running ultramarathons. He even attempted the Cocodona 250 this year. If that's not proof that resilience and smart health management go hand in hand, I don't know what is. Well done, Les. Now, the news moves over to India. The state of Uttarakhand is hosting its first high-altitude ultramarathon. The Adi Kailash Parikrama Ultra. This race takes place above 3,300 meters above sea level. Now, that's some serious altitude, especially living here in Wales. Think thinner air, slower pace, and there is a mandatory acclimatization period before you can start the race. Distances range right from 5k right up to 62 kilometers, and it's offering solid prize money, so I'm sure that's going to draw some attention. And now for one of our own, we move on to the UTMB. If you're an ultra runner and you didn't know this, Tom Evans from the UK has actually finished first in the UTMB after a few years of trying. Now, Tom finished in a time of 19 hours and 18 minutes. From watching interviews, what made this year different for Tom was that he stuck to his plan. He ran calm, he was data-driven, paced himself to perfection, managed the manageables like keeping himself warm when it was cold, making sure he put on his gloves and his jacket, and he was on top of his hydration and nutrition. And also, watching some documentaries, his training was spot on, and he seemed to like training with a weighted vest up a vertical kilometre, and also making use of the treadmill on full incline with the ski erg. Now it's good to see Tom back on top, and I'm sure this will feel like a little bit of redemption for him. Moving on to the women's side, New Zealand's Ruth Croft made history, becoming the first woman ever to win the OCC and now the full UTMB. So that's the latest news from the world of ultra running. Some epic challenges, inspiring comebacks, and new races popping up everywhere. Which of these stories fired you up the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the ultra running community for more news, tips, and tech reviews. Till next time, keep moving forward.